So it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this webinar of the REN Alliance. The REN Alliance, the International Renewable Energy Alliance, which is an alliance of the 5 renewable energy organizations which work on the global level: the International Geothermal Association, the International Hydropower Association, the International Solar Energy Society, the World Bioenergy Association, and the World Wind Energy Association. We have the pleasure to welcome you to this webinar, which is about a new momentum for climate change mitigation, renewables working together. And it's a great pleasure that we have 3 expert speakers here with us today, representing the key international organizations dealing with the transformation of the global energy supply system. Now, before we start this webinar, I would like to just inform you about a few important things. One is that this is a public event, so it is recorded and it's also broadcasted live on YouTube. So please, if you do not want that your face is visible in the general public, then please be aware of that. And if you raise a topic, if you have any questions, please also be aware that this is public. Those who have questions, I would request you to write your question into the chat window and we will come back to that. And if time allows, we will also then ask you to speak. Unless you are requested to speak, I would also request everyone to stay muted so that there is no disturbing sound and noise in the background. With this, I have the pleasure to invite Honorable Peter Rae. Peter, you are the president of the World Wind Energy Association. You are the honorary chairman of our REN Alliance. You have had many positions in renewable energy, including as the chairman in the past of Hydro Tasmania. You really have the practical experience also of how to deal with renewable energy implementation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you and ask you to welcome our participants.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Thank you for the opportunity to welcome those who are participating by speaking, those who are participating by listening. I hope everybody concludes this session feeling that it was a very worthwhile occasion. And it takes me back to a little bit of the history of what we're going to be talking about. And I think that those who were privileged to join in the 2004 Bonn Conference saw one of the great events in world history. And it's got a special significance for, I think, 2 of the parties which will be talking today. One of them is the REN Alliance, which was formed at the time of the Bonn Conference and immediately after it, with the inaugural 3 members of solar, wind and hydro, and then later on joined by bioenergy and geothermal. The recognition at the Bonn Conference is that not only was there a problem, but there was a solution, that there was a way to go forward together as part of the world, taking action to overcome the problems of climate change, the problems of sustainability of the world, and the creation of a world which was a better place for the rapidly increasing population to gather and to experience. It was an example of the old saying that united we stand and divided we fall. Out of that conference came the desire to work together, and 154 nations of the world joined in the declaration which flowed from that. Since 2004, we've seen the creation, as a part of the recommendations from the Bonn Conference, was the formation of an organisation which is now known as REN 21. And the REN 21 organisation has had a dramatic impact on providing information, statistics and ideas to the interested world, and the interested world has grown very significantly since REN 21 was formed in, well, really we got it going in 2005. The statistics show the tremendous growth that has taken place in the renewable energy world. And then we have not only REN 21, but the IEA, which has a long history, but has been taking an increasing interest in renewable energy as part of the energy scene. And that's a warm welcome to the IEA participating in this webinar. And then we have IRENA. IRENA took a little while to get going. It wasn't for some years that it was successfully negotiated, but it was negotiated, it was established, and now it has over 160 countries which have joined, and a number of others who are in the process of joining. So we've got those three organisations plus the REN Alliance, which can all date back to that meeting in Bonn in 2004. The concept of a sustainable world is something which had been floating around, people starting to become more and more concerned about it. The Club of Rome started some great interest, but others were involved, and we had a recognition that sustainability of the world is something which we needed to have. The world population has trebled in my lifetime. And that's some indication of just how massive has been the change that has taken place in the world, and how important it is that not only can we find ways in relation to energy, but the other things in life of being able to service a population with a world which has suffered as a result of failing to cater for the heavy demand on resources. And so the concept of a sustainable world is something which we'll be hearing about in various ways in this webinar. I'd like to just add one thing to that, and that is that I've been one of the international jury for the Energy Globe Awards. And in that capacity, I see a large number of the entries that people put in for ways in which you can make a more sustainable world. I think a bringing together of those who are involved in renewable energy and those who are involved in the variety of ways in which we can make a sustainable world could well get together and have a webinar in which the sustainability of the world and renewable energy's contribution would be one of the matters discussed. So with those words, let me welcome all of those who are participating, welcome those who are going to be speaking, and over to you, Stefan, to introduce the first speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity. May you all find ways to be able to develop a renewable world in a faster speed, because that's the challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Peter.